Leo's tiny habit. In a cozy little town nestled between rolling hills and a chattering river lived a man named Leo. Leo wasn't a bad person, but he often felt like a little boat being tossed about by the waves of his own moods. His small cottage was usually messy, with dishes in the sink and books scattered like fallen leaves. He often felt tired, a little grumpy, and found that his big dreams, like writing a book and learning the guitar, remained just that, dreams, forever floating out of reach. One rainy afternoon, feeling particularly stuck, Leo visited his wise old neighbor, Mr. Sterling, who was tending his magnificent garden. Mr. Sterling, Leo sighed, how does your garden always look so perfect? Mine is just a patch of weeds. Mr. Sterling smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. He pointed to a tiny, delicate seedling. It didn't start like this, Leo. It started with that one. Every great thing begins with a single, small seed. Not with a grand plan, but with a simple daily habit. He handed Leo a small, smooth stone. Think of your life as a pond, Leo. A single small pebble can create ripples that reach the farthest shore. Puzzled but intrigued, Leo went home, the stone sitting heavy in his pocket. He decided to try planting one seed. That night, before he fell into his usual heap on the sofa, he spent just 2 minutes making his bed. It felt silly. What difference could a made bed possibly make? But the next morning, walking into his room and seeing the neat bed made him feel a tiny spark of accomplishment. That spark gave him the energy to add a second small habit. He decided to wash his breakfast plate immediately instead of leaving it in the sink. One clean plate led to a clean counter. A clean counter made the kitchen feel nicer, so he spent 5 minutes putting away the scattered books. The tidy space made his mind feel a little less cluttered. Inspired, Leo added another pebble to his pond. He started going for a 10-minute walk every morning. At first, his legs complained, but soon he began to notice the dew on the spiderwebs, the cheerful songs of the robins, and the way the fresh air filled his lungs with energy. The walk made him feel more awake, so he found it easier to focus. He started a new habit, the one thing rule. Every day he would ask himself, what is one small thing I can do today to move toward my dream? For his book, it was writing just one paragraph. For his guitar, it was practicing just one chord. Days turned into weeks. The 2-minute bed making was now automatic. The kitchen was always tidy. His morning walk had stretched to 20 joyful minutes. Writing one paragraph sometimes turned into a whole page. Strumming one chord had led to learning a simple song. The ripples were spreading. One day, a young boy from down the street, Timmy, who was always frowning and kicking stones, saw Leo returning from his walk, looking cheerful. Why are you always so happy in the morning? Timmy mumbled. Leo laughed. It wasn't always like that. It all started with a tiny habit. Want to see? He showed Timmy his guitar and taught him one single chord. Practice this for just 5 minutes every day, Leo said. See what happens. Timmy, bored and curious, agreed. A week later, he ran back to Leo's cottage, his face beaming. I can play the chord. And I practiced every day, just like you said. I even cleaned my room so I'd have a nice place to practice. Leo's heart swelled. His ripple had reached someone else. Months later, Mr. Sterling stopped by. Leo's cottage was no longer messy. It was cozy and inviting. On his desk lay a stack of papers, the first draft of his book. In the corner, his guitar leaned against a chair, well loved and often played. "You see, Leo," Mr. Sterling said, his gaze sweeping over the transformed home and the transformed man. "You didn't change your life in one giant leap. You built a new one, brick by tiny brick, habit by small habit. You planted a garden of good routines, and now you are enjoying the harvest." Leo picked up the smooth stone from his windowsill, where it now served as a paperweight. He finally understood. The big changes, the happiness, the energy, the achieved dreams were not the cause. They were the effect. The true magic, the real power, lay in the small, simple, good habits he had cultivated every single day. And his pond, once choppy and unsettled, was now calm, clear, and sending out ripples of positivity that touched everyone around him.